Hello tubers, back again. I'm here today to talk about something I wanted to follow up a little bit about on moonliopals' video about calling oneself a high priest or priest or titles in general. I'll just call this video about titles in general. And as I was talking to her about it, what most people don't realize is that even Jesus himself was persecuted mainly because he had given himself the title of King of the Jews. And by giving himself the title, that was one of the highest forms of treason. Therefore, he deserved the highest forms of death, which was to be death by tree, which was supposed to be, for them back then, incredibly disrespectful and shameful. That's why they crucified him on wood, of course. And that's why, of course, Judas hung himself from a tree, because it was, symbolically a treacherous thing to do. Just thought I would throw that out there for you, though. But I want to talk a little bit on it because most of the practitioners today that I know love to give themselves titles. And I admit, too, I fall prey to this, but I occasionally, and I will say, I have occasionally called myself priest. And let me explain, the only reason I have done that is because I have been practicing and studying since I was 12 years old, and I will be 21 in 3 months. Aside from that, I am also a first-degree initiate through a temple, and by that means, even though I'm on my second degree sabbatical, I do not consider myself high priest. I hardly even refer to myself as priest, let alone high priest. So, what do we call ourselves? What do people call themselves? Do we even call ourselves witch? Do we even call ourselves mystics, healers? But nowadays I've noticed, as you'll read in any book, of course, that the title of which has been slandered, and it probably has been, and we probably won't be able to bring it back, but the title that I usually take for myself is healer, and when people ask me what my religion is, I simply tell them I'm a person of my own path, because that is what I am. I don't consider myself Wiccan, I don't consider myself a witch, I just consider myself a person of my own path. I see things the way I see them. I see them very differently, I see them similarly, I see them, very open-mindedly. And it's to this extent that I always get labeled. In fact, they say, well, you're a witch, you're a Wiccan, you don't, you think all animals are sacred, all things are sacred. I said, well, I believe life is sacred, life force is sacred, anything that has life is sacred and should be respected as such. But I'm not going to go dancing around with snakes or sleeping with scorpions and spiders. I'm not an idiot, alright? I still have those phobias. I am human. I respect the life in the snake. I respect the life in spiders, but I'm just going to let them live their own lives, because we coexist in nature. I am not greater than the snake or the spider. I am not lesser than the snake or the spider. I am the same. And it's upon this realization that I understood that titles mean nothing, especially in this business, or in this line of work. I'm sorry, not this business. I'm sorry if y'all can't hear me, by the way, I'm sorry. I have a horrible tendency of mumbling, so I try my best to speak up when I can. But yeah, I just want to, get that out there. First of all, you can't call yourself high priest, high priestess after a year or two of practicing or studying because you've read a book or two. We've all read books. We've all searched the web. We've all been there. We've all done that. I feel like, in addition to reading books, in addition to doing your own research, you need some guidance from someone. And though I've said to several people on here, you always need to look within. One of the mottos I always say within my tradition, my practice, I don't want to say tradition, my practice, is, again, what you don't find within, you will never find without. And this applies for many things. And when I look within, I don't find myself as the witch, I don't find myself as the healer, I just find me. And that's all I'm going to be. I don't like taking the word priest because I feel like it relates far too much to Christianized thought of priesthood. And to that effect, I don't want to be categorized as Christian. I don't see things in a Christian light, so why would I want to be categorized as a Christian? But yes, when I was 12 years old, I decided I wanted to start this path. I began studying at 12. At 15 or 16, I want to say, I did my year in a day. And I remember the end of my year in a day was on a Lunar solstice, or Lunar ritual, I'm sorry. I did Lunar Sabbath. And I'm not even that great on Sabbaths. I couldn't even tell you the next Sabbath that's coming up right now. I really couldn't. I'm not that advanced of a person. I don't consider myself a high priest. I don't know as much as I should. But I do what I can and I do what I must. I barely just now hung up my besom over the door, and I've lived here in this house for 6-7 months now. I mean, we do what we can, we all have our dry spells. I don't consider myself any far more advanced than I should be, and I think everybody should take that into consideration. You've only been reading for a couple years, so therefore you need to consider yourself a high priest to a specific god or goddess. That's retarded. I feel like one could not even understand the god or goddess to their full extent. So, I've worked with many gods, so why could I say I'm a high priest of several different gods? I've worked with Bridget, Isis, Hecate, Anubis, the Holy Death, Santa Sima Muerte. I've ventured off. I've done many things. I don't devote myself to a particular deity. And I don't see it more as a religious movement. I see it more or less as a spiritual practice. Therefore, why would I call myself a priest? But I wanted to share my thoughts on that and see what everybody else had to say. But anyway, until next time, blessed be everyone.